It's funny because every sort of acting class I've taken has been a different cohort of people. My philosophy within an acting class is quite simple. It's just don't be afraid to look like an idiot. You can't get the things you find in a drama classroom, you can't get anywhere else. You can't get it in a finance classroom.
You've done content creation. You said you started in high school. How did that realization come about of becoming a content creator?
I could never talk badly about the University of Saskatchewan in a million years. If you have very inefficient processes, and if you extrapolate those out to yourself or other people, you will magnify the inefficiencies.
Right. Hey guys, welcome back to It's K to Be Karen, and today you have me, Karen. We have another special guest, and his name is Auckland. He is a content creator across many social media platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Currently, he is in his undergraduate program of finance, and then he'll be moving into his undergraduate program of drama. And before I say anything further, I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi everybody, my name's Auckland. Yes, as Karen explained, I'm a content creator as well in finance and drama. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. I'm a big fan of the work you do, and you're very professional, so it's a pleasure to be sitting right here.
Awesome. I love that. So before we actually get into conversations, we're going to do a quick rapid fire round. So we can do this in two ways. I can ask you all of the 5 questions like one by one to you, or we can alternate. First question. Are you a person who likes pineapple on pizza?
Yes, I actually had pineapple on pizza this morning. Who makes you happy?
Who or what?
Who?
My mom. If you didn't study finance, what would you have studied instead?
Maybe law first. I mean, you kind of have to pick up that first arts and science before you can apply. I'm pretty sure. I think you have. Maybe you can just. Yeah, I think.
Yes, you're right.
You need some
2 years of something.
Yes, 2 years of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, psych or whatever. Finance, I think, is just a good base. That's why I chose it, not necessarily to go work in a bank.
Okay, awesome.
What's the meaning of life? You can try and keep it short.
Okay, I can try and keep it short. Meaning of life. Oh, I think for me, at this stage of my life, if I were to define life right now, I think it's more about growth. So, okay, third question. Thank you. Third question. Do you like, pick one. Bakery or bubble tea shop?
Bakery.
Okay.
Favorite sport, if you have?
Rugby. I used to be a rugby player. Okay, fourth question. What is your favorite event in the city?
I mean, I like Canada Day weekend, fireworks. I've always enjoyed that. This year, I'll be taking advantage by using the mass amount of people for content, which, in a place like Saskatoon, it's difficult to, always have a lot of people in your videos, but notable mentions would be the salsa down at the river Monday and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Favorite subject in school growing up?
I think I really enjoyed math and drama. These 2 classes were my favorite growing up. But then in university, I've never taken a drama class.
Oh, you should.
I should?
Just take acting 1. That's all you like.
That's all I need. Okay.
Just go see. I mean, you'll probably do very well, like pushing out of your comfort zone and like just taking the class for what it is. You tend to do quite well average-wise. So I think you'd be fine.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because I think in my first year I did want to take drama, but I never took it because I was like, so I've taken drama in high school, but then the stakes are quite low, whereas in university there's more people, and my brain just thought it'd be more grand. So I was like, I don't know if I'm up for the challenge. It's not. Okay.
I would argue that high school would be more difficult just because that's such a more like
smaller group.
Well, yeah, and it's very interconnected, and there's a lot of social dynamics forming in high school. Universities, like a lot of the people who go to the drama building, it's not necessarily that we're outcasts, but we're definitely different. It's a collection of people where anyone can be accepted. So
true.
Don't worry, the stakes are pretty low.
Well, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, well, because we've done a rapid fire, we'll get into our conversations. I know you've done construction a little bit before you started university, I suppose. How do you feel that experiences from construction has helped you navigate your interest or your passion in technology or creative side of what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, really, I attribute those years to some of the most hardworking years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Long hours. It tended to be quite laborious. But more than anything, there was a wide array of situations where I had to go do something, or I had to go talk to someone, or whatever that I didn't know, that I wasn't comfortable with. It was a brand new environment, but it's an order from the boss. It's got to get done. So whether that's returning, 35 items at Home Depot without a receipt, and maybe the items were bought outside of the return policy a little bit, but you're going up to the counter, your cortisol is a little up, So there's a bunch of situations where you're just like, you're not comfortable, you don't feel as though you're ready to do it, but you kind of just have to tackle it, and you stumble and whatever. But those hardworking sort of new environments within construction allowed me to become much more comfortable everywhere else, because it felt as though the stakes were sort of lower. I worked for construction companies out in BC, and it was always an easier job than working for, my dad or my family. So in terms of building onto the creative side, it's that whole work ethic that was built. And my parents actually owned a business in Regina. It was called It's a Blast. It was like a big indoor play center. But there was, I used to run cashier there and things like that. So starting from a young age in work environments allowed me to, sort of build my own work ethic within myself. And then now, when you're kind of your own boss, like no one else is going to make my content for me or do those things, the work ethic transitions and it becomes a little bit easier.
And I totally see that, right? Because I feel like every experience that you do builds off for you to learn something else. Like I never grew up thinking I want to be a podcaster. It was a series of a lot of work experiences that built and shaped that personality of mine, or built the way I perceived life, which is why then I started eventually going into my podcasting. Curious to ask though, because you're doing finance as an undergrad major, was that always something you intended to do? Or is that something that came with time? Or maybe was there a time that you realized that, hey, I want to do finance?
It was sort of just business associated, whether that, working for my dad in that sense, or seeing my parents have their own business, or, doing lawn care and other things like that. I knew there was a connection to business. I actually originally was going to go into accounting.
Oh, okay.
Just because those are good skills to have. But finance sort of just fell as the next best thing. And realistically, again, the degree tied to business, it actually really doesn't change too much for me. It's where, a background lies. I do like investing. I do like, proper money management, things like that. But it's not necessarily what gives my life purpose or what I really enjoy to do. A lot of people who end up with finance degrees, they do tend to just work in, the financial world. Right. So as much as there's plenty of people who I absolutely think are right for that, I just don't think I am.
If things don't work well for you in the creative space, at least you have something to fall back to, which I think is very beneficial. How did drama come into your life, though?
I just took acting 1 in the spring a few years ago.
Like the university class? Yeah. Okay.
And I just fell in love with it. It's funny because every sort of acting class I've taken has been a different cohort of people. And as the camaraderie of that class is built over those weeks, everyone just sort of gels together. And I have several group chats from each time I've taken an acting class, and it's comprised of everyone in that class. And so when I sort of just stumbled onto it, and I thought, I had advice from my younger years saying, "Oh, go do drama, go do that," and I was just too scared. So I don't have a single high school drama class
Right.
under my belt. But in that, and finding it in university, as I was a little bit older, as I was starting to fully push with content, it's helped to just enhance those skills even more. So I've stumbled into it, and my philosophy within an acting class is quite simple. It's just, don't be afraid to look like an idiot. Whenever the teacher is asking for a volunteer, my classmates will always joke that I'm the first one to do it, just because those acting classes, you get the most out of them if you're just willing to absolutely, the teacher gives a direction about what you're supposed to do, and you do the wrong thing. Like one time it was like, go do a silly walk, and I pranced and skipped across the room.
Yeah.
And then the next 5 people went, and they were all actually doing walks. And so it was you have to be willing to just suck and look like a little idiot for a second. But it has served me. It has served me so well. And that combination, with finance, it really works well, because no one else sort of has it. So yeah, like you said, combining those two pieces is beneficial.
Do you think your experience of becoming a content creator has helped to improve your confidence, or do you think it's the drama classes that has improved your confidence? Or you could say both.
I mean, yeah, I've had 3 actual. I've done acting 1, 2, and 3, and then I've also been in a few productions since the start of this year. So that has helped as well. But yeah, I mean, I remember doing content in Vancouver in 2022, and just super scared to do it, vlog style, similar to what and life is very parsimonious. You pick up a bunch of different skills and things about yourself at different points at different times. So my content creation career is admittedly much longer than the drama one, but you can't get the things you find in a drama classroom. You can't get anywhere else. You can't get it in a finance classroom. You can't get it in a comp sci classroom. There's just there's nowhere else to pick that up. So as much as there is, the social interactions that I partake in society out and about, those are normal kind of ones that you'd find every single day. The drama ones are this hyper fixated, we're going to walk around the room and you're going to control your voice, or control these little minute things that help you sort of pull yourself in. And I have to give a shout out to, there's a few acting profs. Fraser Stevens is the graduate chair at the drama program, and then there's a sessional, Curtis Henschel. When you have to go to the drama building at 9 a.m. on a spring class and do acting 2 with Curtis Henschel, and he's making you do monkey noises when you're half asleep, and it's he's like, take the water and splash it on your face, and you have to go oh, wow. And fully give that. You can't get that anywhere else. But yes, those small little things that each professor teaches you.
I also feel like the more you come out of your comfort zone, the more you learn about yourself. Because when I started vlogging, I remember, when you're in public spaces, you're holding a camera, people are staring at you. I had to come out of my comfort zone. I had to be, I don't know what's a better word, but it's to be shameless almost, because I'm doing it for what I like to do. And I have to think more about the audience. I have to think about myself and what I'm interested in. And I really had to come out of my comfort zone. But then while doing so, in the process of doing that, I think I developed a lot of the skills that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So it's a process, right? So like you said about splashing water, being a monkey early in the morning, it's something you wouldn't do regularly, right? But
never. I haven't done it since.
Yeah, I haven't done it since.
Curtis would be mad.
Well, curious though. So you've done content creation. You said you started in high school. How did that realization come about of becoming a content creator?
When I would beg my buddies from high school to start doing content with me, because it's always easier to do it when you have, you know, friends to share the social pressure of it, to share the work hours, to share the idea generation. All those things are easier when you've got, you know, a few people. But unfortunately, you won't get anywhere because you're the one, if you're the one suggesting it and you want to do it, you know, the other people might not want to or whatever. They're not the ones suggesting it coming to you.
Yeah.
And so the ideas can quickly just fall to zero. And so in that and really the realization was just like, I'm the only one who's going to do it for me. There's no one who's going to come help me, because the people who are actually doing it, or, you know, share the same sort of vigor or wanting that I did at the time, they aren't really, they're not out looking for other people. They're just doing it themselves.
Right.
And so I've sort of, in that time, I realized that it was like, okay, it's me. I'm going to try do it. And admittedly, it's people ask me, it's like, oh, when did you start posting? And it's like, sure, I made I have New Year's resolutions from previous years that I keep, and on each one from 2023 and 2024, I wrote, you know, post consistently on one platform. And 2 years went by and I still wasn't. And so then I was like, screw it. 2025 rolled around and I was sitting there, and I just saw, like, a few people were around, and I saw the sheet out, and I was embarrassed to have anyone see it, just because there was a few goals on the list that just weren't even touched. So then it was like January 29th, 2025, and I was like, screw it. I'm just going to make phone videos, because those are easy. They're quick. And I'm just going to do one every day. And so I did that for a good 4 months, and then tapered it off.
One every day. Wow.
Tried to,
That's quite hard,
they're most of them are all gone, actually. They're all privated and or deleted on my TikTok. And I actually just used like books that had quotes in them, and then I would just talk about the quotes. For a long time, I didn't know what my niche was. Right. Even though social anxiety surrounding content creation was staring at me in my face since 2019 or prior, you know.
How did you feel inspired to talk about social anxiety, though? Is it something that you were going through yourself, or is it something people around you were going through, and that's when you thought, hey, I'll talk about it a little bit more? Or it just happened?
It's all me. Like, you know, sure, there's other people who struggle with it. It's a very common theme, especially post-COVID. You know, everyone sort of became accustomed to being inside, and then, you know, going back to how things were before, it's difficult to transition to that. And so, yeah, like, I was socially anxious to do content in high school. I was socially anxious to do content beyond that. I was making content in those 2019 to 2023 timeframe years, but not, you know, not posting it anywhere tied to my name. Like, I did stuff on YouTube, but that's pretty, like, reserved. Most people weren't finding it. Most people didn't know.
I agree. Yes.
So, you know, it's kind of like you're scared because you're trying to find your own path. My niches at the time weren't social anxiety. The social anxiety niche came out of the 4-Hour Work Week. Actually, is the book that I credit a lot of my idea generation to. And in it, there's a little excerpt that says, "Relax in public." Lay down on the floor in a Starbucks line or a big place.
I've heard you say that somewhere, actually. Yeah.
And so that sort of stemmed. I was like, okay, that came much later, but in my mind, I always wanted to be confident enough to film in front of people. Like, I sort of had this idea in my head of how the content would look. It would be me in a hallway from, you know, chest up, and it would be focused on me, but there would just be people passing by. And I could just deliver a message to the camera without struggle. And so that sort of bore the whole social anxiety niche. But yes, I struggled with it.
You know, I feel like usually as content creators, we define success with the amounts of likes or the amounts of followers that we have.
We do.
For you, though, what was the definition of success? Was it more like when people actually reached out to you and told you, hey, you're actually helping me to overcome social anxiety? Or was it something else? Like, how did you define success as a content creator? Or when people start recognizing you, maybe?
consistency.
Right.
Doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, sure, there is all those, like, gosh, every time someone comes up to me,
Mm-hmm.
I am absolutely enamored by the fact that they are, like, because I walked around this city for plenty of years without, anyone knowing who I was. And sure, yes, it is a direct consequence of social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I'm deeply grateful for. I will never, it's like, there's a Riff Raff clip and he's like, my main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody.
Right.
My main goal wasn't to blow up. And I will, gosh, everyone in this city is incredibly kind. And I owe so much to that initial base that, especially from the university. I could never talk badly about the University of Saskatchewan in a million years. The people, the teachers, the professors, the whole institution, I owe an incredible amount to it. But the success piece comes from the fact that I was struggling to be consistent for so long. And I just, one day I had enough and I was like, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time. Everyone else is doing their own thing. Screw it. If there's views and followers, that's great. I'm forever grateful for that. But I don't get down on myself when video views aren't doing well. I get down on myself when I'm not being consistent or I'm not getting out there and making new clips or new content or,
I like that. Yeah. Discipline, right? So it starts with yourself. When you become more consistent and more disciplined, the reward just naturally comes to you, right? So I totally agree with that. Do you remember the first time when someone actually recognized you in public for your content?
Her name is Holly Westlake.
Okay.
She's actually I don't think she's in drama. She's taken a few drama classes. She's been involved in drama, but she walked past me in the arts tunnel the first time I was sort of filming. She was like, "I've seen your videos." And I was just like,
That's awesome.
There's number one. So yeah.
Me as a person who's doing podcasts, like although my content is much longer, I know how difficult it is to be consistent, to get up on a weekend, to plan people, to plan the guests, plan the questions. I totally get that. So, and the fact that you do this every single day, that is really difficult. So kudos to you for doing what you're doing.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I've tapered off a little bit from that. Now I'm trying to get better at batching content.
Right.
That's a common word people use in the content space. And try get 4, 5, 6 uploads out of a singular filming period, which is ideal. I mean, goodness, you should be proud of yourself too, because to sit here and have all the questions cataloged in your head, like based on the outline you sent me, which I actually deeply appreciated. Having an outline and a rough idea of where the podcast is going, I think is a very important thing.
The other thing is also, I feel like a lot of people don't realize this, is like today people know you as Auckland, the content creator who's working on creating content for overcoming social anxiety. People know me as the podcaster, but people don't realize the amount of years that must have taken you to actually find that niche, Like when I started content creation, I didn't know I was going to get into podcasts. It was a dream that I had, but it wasn't something that I started off right off the bat, right? And it takes years to cultivate all those kind of skills. So that's something I feel like a lot of people don't realize. And I think it's awesome to see that people like you are actually taking that initiative to start something like that. And that's awesome.
Likewise.
Yes, thank you. How do you balance your time, or how do you manage that juggling between your school, your business, your creative side? How do you do all that? I feel like that's a lot of work.
I'm very poor at it, actually.
I don't believe you.
Well, you tend to see, like, as you work on certain skills, you get quicker at them. Editing for one. I used to edit on Premiere Pro with a computer, and that just takes forever. And now I do it all on my phone, and I have an SD card reader that goes to Lightning into my phone, so that allows me to churn out content from start to finish, usually within an hour and a half, which is extremely helpful. So learning how to be more efficient, you can. What's the quote? Extrapolating if you have very inefficient processes,
Mhm.
and if you extrapolate those out to yourself or other people, you will magnify the inefficiencies.
Right.
If you have an efficient process and you
Mhm.
extrapolate that out to yourself or other people, you will magnify the efficiencies. So
I like that.
being efficient, I stole it from Tim Ferriss, and he stole it from someone else. I think it's quoted in his book.
It's a chain. Now I'm going to steal that.
Go right ahead. It's free information.
Mhm.
But those sort of things
Mhm.
really help with the whole time management thing. In terms of school, I do well when it's a hands-on class. Like a lot of the acting classes are very like you have to be in the class and then you're involved in the circle of people and everything, and that's great. I have a tougher time sitting down and like listening to a singular, finance lecture or whatever.
Mhm.
So the management of school is has become a very like it's not something that's going to make or break my career,
Mhm.
especially with the path I'm taking. Not everyone has that same privilege,
Mhm.
but it's definitely something I just try to keep running in the background. I'll just pick up classes and slowly complete
Mhm.
degrees. I'd love a law degree, somewhere down in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll get to that, but I'd like it to be something that it can just turn in the background, and I don't necessarily have to be like extremely dedicated to it. A lot of people are much different. My grades aren't that good.
Mhm.
That's the consequence of that
Mhm.
sort of system.
Mhm.
But yeah, you just try to get better every single day. Try to manage your time a little bit better. Keep a good sleep schedule. I prefer to just kind of, sure, there might be times where I'm slipping down for a second, but it's like down. Okay, back up. Here we go.
Right.
Onto the next thing.
I like the way you put that. Yeah. Looking a little bit back to your content creation, maybe a question to ask is, because you post content, of course, in a much more higher frequency than I do. How do you plan your content as a content creator? Is that something you sit down with yourself and actually think about it through? Or are you more of a content creator that kind of just does it on spot? What does content creation look like for you?
Sometimes I have no inspiration and no ideas, and I only have the camera and my person, and I have a location in mind, or I don't even have a location and I just go somewhere in the city and I just, pick it out of thin air and just see what my brain comes up with, which can work. Other times there's just ideas or inspirations that I come across, whether from books or scrolling on a platform or other people. I'll find myself giving advice. Other people will ask me a question. I'll be giving the advice back to them, and then I'm like, oh, this could just be a video right here. So there's those moments, and there's video ideas. I just shot a video. I've been posting kind of promos for the full YouTube video. I'm doing long form for the first time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Gosh, in a long time. This weekend, so I'll be uploading something to YouTube.
Do you feel like content creation has become easier for you over time because now you're Auckland, not just a random student out there and a stranger?
It would be stupid to say no. Like, of course, having your own brand and a lot of stuff that was built towards it. It's you have the stack of proof. There's, I can't remember the content creator. He commonly says having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. When you have that, yes, it definitely is easier. And the feedback I get from others a lot of the time is, they'll be like, oh, your content's cool or whatever. I don't really watch it, or all those things. Like, it's all right, or whatever it is. Maybe they're not just like, I don't watch my own content. Sure, you don't have to watch it either. But most often they say to me, the one thing you do though is you're always consistent.
Right.
And so that has become sort of something in my brand where it's just like, I know that if the advice might not be that good. It might have been said somewhere else. Someone else said it better. It might be a little corny. Whatever. I'm getting that video done for that day. And so then that injected in with, the brand, and then the overall fact that I've been doing it for a longer period of time. Yeah, it makes it easier. And the trick is then, once you hit a little bit of views and you're doing well followers wise or whatever, that you can't, when the next video you post gets 600 views in comparison to your other ones that are getting, hundreds of thousands or millions, you can't get dismotivated by that. You can't, you just have to still be tied to, no, this is who I am. This is the consistency. Like
Mhm.
you just have to keep going. Cause it's never,
Mhm.
when you started doing this, it's not about the views. You're doing it
Mhm.
because you want to.
Want
You're doing
to.
it because you
Yeah.
have an interest for talking to people
Mhm.
or whatever. So
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Do you actually spend time to read people's comments on your reels or your messages, or you kind of do that periodically?
I mean, there's enough of them that it becomes like, how much time do you really want to spend doing
True.
it?
Yeah.
As a content creator, when you're first starting,
Mhm.
you really do tend to fixate.
Mhm.
Someone posts something and you want to reply, and,
Yeah.
and that's great for building an initial community, and I think everyone should do that.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I try to practice a lot of detachment when it comes to my
Mhm.
videos. I will upload something and then
Mhm.
I will just swipe the app away and
Okay.
not look for, at least, a decent amount of the day. Sometimes that doesn't necessarily work. Sometimes I'm like not very detached. I'm like,
Mhm.
I thought this video would be doing better or whatever. And it's just like, no, like you have to remember to, like, friends of mine will be like, just turn the phone off. And it's like, fair enough. You're completely right.
Yeah.
And so those things kind of interplay and factor in.
Where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Because I feel like, fame always comes and goes. Like, well, there's two questions to this. How do you see fame today? And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think fame is like, it's not ridiculous, but it's just like, I view it as, there's people who take fame and then they almost put themselves on a pedestal above the rest of society. Celebrities will do this often. You don't have the time of day for someone or whatever. And sure, like, I get it that sometimes certain interactions can be inconveniencing when you have other things going on. Sure, fair enough. But I honestly think it's such a privilege to just have someone come up to you and, like, know who you are, want to talk to you, want to meet you.
Yep.
That will never change for me. And so, sure, the small amounts of fame I've garnered, within my city, I owe that to everyone in my city. So I'll never turn my back to any of those people. And I enjoy talking to absolutely anyone. There was a lady down at the Remy Modern, and she was just having a tough time. Like, she was just screaming. And there was a bunch of people around who were all like looking and staring. And, I always try to make a goal of just like, I will talk to anyone, including the people who are having a really difficult time. And so, the whole social media numbers, views, associated side, sure, there's immense benefits. But, like, again, I am actually no different than you or literally anyone else in this city, because we're all roughly like the same, give or take. And so there's immense benefit in just understanding that we all, all the social media, all that, it's just an opportunity to meet people and work together. And, like, life is long and you never know where you'll end up or what bridge you'll cross another time. So to answer the latter half, where I see myself, I'll probably be somewhere, around here, around Canada. I'd like to push towards more public speaking, and then also, the launch of the coaching and consulting side of things. I'd like to get involved with businesses to help them, push more into social media and content and grow their businesses. But I'd also, there's a lot of people, there's 8 billion people on the planet. A lot of them could benefit from, building those social anxiety skills. A lot of the stuff that I just naturally sort of just came to me as privileges that I'm happy to share and help other people grow. But 5 years from now, like, I'd like a Persephone show under my belt and push acting as well, that too. And
Awesome.
and hopefully I'll be done my undergrad by then.
I love that for you. Yeah, absolutely. If looking at the stage that you are currently in your life, what does development mean to you today?
What does development mean? I mean, not to, like, reiterate the same themes, but it always just is like, am I using my day effectively? Am I, being consistent in the things in which I'm choosing to be consistent in? Am I eating correctly? Am I sleeping correctly? Am I prioritizing physical activity? And then am I prioritizing, the purpose side of things and or business and or school? You know, every single day you get to choose what you get to focus on. And it's like, are you being balanced? Are you being measured? Are you being consistent across the things in which you're choosing?
Mm-hmm.
And the important thing, and a lot of progress or growth or development stems from the fact that you have to choose. You have to just pick the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you are coasting through your life under the veil of ambiguity, you'll become very stressed, and like you'll wake up one day and you'll be 50 and your life will have passed you by, and it's just like 50 is still young, might I add. But you know, you have to be willing to just choose to pick and then to do. And if you're doing that, you'll turn out just fine.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Well, I have to say, thank you so much for being a part of my podcast.
My pleasure.
But before I say anything, I'm going to give you a very cute gift card that you'll pretend like you didn't know about.
What? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
To Delish. I've been so many times.
And it's the awesomest place that you can ever go.
Here's
a very cute gift card.
Thank you.
I hope you really enjoy your time at Delish. And I want to say thank you so much for making time to be part of this podcast. I know we're absolute strangers, but I feel like in this hour of just chatting with you, I feel like I've been talking to a friend, and I've learned so much from you. So thank you for saying yes.
That's very sweet. Thank you for having me. My goodness.
Course,
And I'll come back anytime.
If this podcast was a platform, and if you had to say anything to the audience, what would you tell them?
If you need coaching help, if you need, any question you have, my DMs are always open. Mm-hmm. If you see me in person, I get comments all the time, people saying, "Oh, I saw you, but I didn't come up to you." Just come up and say hi. I'm more than happy to always chat. Thank you for having me.
As much as I do want you to become popular, I'm glad that you were just popular enough to actually read my text and be a part of this podcast.
I will always listen. If you're from Saskatoon, I don't care if you have, 100,000 followers on a podcast or you just started it last week. I think the world is just a better place when we all help each other. So at the end of the day, 5 years from now, I will gladly still take the podcast with, time permitting.
Yeah.
With whoever.
Yes. Awesome. I love that for you. I thought this was your first podcast, but it looks like not. This is the best that you've done, and this is probably one of the best episodes.
Wow.
So this is awesome.
Thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to tell the audience, well, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, we shall help to co-reply. And with that being said, I want to say, Auckland, thank you again for being a part of this. I know it's a Saturday, it's a weekend. Not everyone's free. The fact that you came, this was awesome. And it was a great time sharing the same space with you.
It truly was.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Love that.
Great to meet you.
Yes, of course. And with that being said, we're just going to say bye.
Bye-bye.